Welcome to Comadres y Comics. Comadres y Comics is a podcast hosted by 3 Latina women.
We highlight the Latinx presence in the comic book industry as creators, characters, and fans.
Join us as we talk chisme, comics, fandom, and beer.
Hello, and welcome to Comadres y Comics. It's episode 286. Welcome back, ladies. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Welcome back. All right.
Yes.
2 weeks in
back.
a row. It's so real. Anyway, I wanted to say to everybody out there, thank you so much for wishing Kristen a happy birthday.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
It's really, really cool. Also wanted to say happy Father's Day to all your papas or your papas. Papa.
If you have them.
Not your poppies.
Yeah. If you have him. If you don't got a dad, fuck him. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, happy Father's Day. We actually, my brother ended up ordering a Pizza Hut pizza, and they just stayed in and just hung out with Noah, and Jacob took a day off from work, so that was really cool.
Oh, fun.
And we just kind of just stayed in, and I kind of felt bad because I didn't really go out of my way to do stuff. And then I only just texted Frank, Happy Father's Day, and I called my dad, so that was cool. I had a moment at QCon where I was, Kristen ran into a customer from her comic shop, and she basically saw their son grow up, and they stopped by, and it's happening again, guys. It's happening again. I had a moment because I kind of identified with the kid in the sense that my dad took us. I mean, I was already older because I'm 7 years older than my brother, but he would take us to local comic conventions like the Shrine Auditorium. He took us to one in Carson. The Carson City Hall, they had one. It wasn't going on for very long, but I think we went to like 5 of them. And my dad would take us, and it just, at the time, you don't think it's something super cool and special. Sorry, but thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Aww.
I talk a lot about my mom and stuff, and everybody knows I love my mom, but my dad, I love the fuck out of him. So, but yeah, it just kind of brought that memory of us. We would go to like Golden Apple. He would drive all the way to Hollywood to take us to Golden Apple. Mm-hmm. And, at the time, you don't think it's cool, and then you don't really remember it until like something, you see it in someone else, and you're like, wow, I had a great childhood. Mm-hmm. So thanks, Dad. Sorry, guys.
No, it's very sweet because it's funny because during the weekend I was just all like, damn, why is everybody out? It was like, is something happening? And then someone was just like, it's Father's Day, like text your dad. And I was just like, oh, you're so right. And mine is in Guatemala right now, and that's how I showed my love. I bought his ticket. Like, ain't gotta. That's love you, Dad. Like, I bought you your plane ticket. But whatchamacallit. But I was also seeing a lot of videos of people, like, afterwards I noticed a lot more videos like on Instagram Reels because I'm not on TikTok. I always gotta say that. I gotta emphasize that. I'm not on TikTok. Stop sending me your TikTok videos. Like, I can't watch them. Send me Instagram vids instead. Instagram Reels. There we go. But one of them that stuck to me was like someone like giving out like not life lessons, but being like, hey, like here's things you should do. And then one of them was like, talk to your dad. Like, no matter what, if you get along with him, if you don't get along with him, if you know who he is, if you don't know who he is, talk to your dad, because one day he's just not gonna be there. And I was just all like, huh, I guess that's true. Like I love my father. He's done things, but he's still my dad, and I love him. And so that definitely, when I was reminded, like, text your dad, I was just like, hey, Dad, just letting you know that I love you. Nothing is happening, I'm not dying or asking for money. I just wanted to say I love you and happy Father's Day. So tell your dad you love him. You love him. Or tell your dad something. We all have complicated relationships, both with our parents, our moms, or our dads, but at least there's a relationship.
Right, right. Or just the men in your family that are our parents.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to do a big old like share post thing, but I didn't do it. I just called my dad and I text my husband and I told the kids here in the house Happy Father's Day. But yeah, generally, like I think what mothers are more celebrated. So just text your dad, pretty much.
Yeah.
Chisme de la semana. What's going on in the chisme world? I mean, we got some good chisme at QCon, but that is just...
Yeah, Jen said something that I was like, it reminded me. She said, there was a memory that stuck with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, speaking about sticking with things. Sarah is innocently standing behind the table asking people as they walk by, would you like a free sticker? Would you like a free sticker? Would you like... And then when they engage and say yes, then we go into our spiel. You know, we're here representing Kumasi Comics, blah, blah, blah. And this guy comes by, he rolls by because he's in a wheelchair, and he says to Sarah, I'd rather you stick yourself to me.
I didn't understand him because it was so loud. And plus, I think I'm going deaf.
Sarah's like, excuse me? Excuse me? He said, excuse me, 3 times. And finally, on the 3rd time, I repeated what he said. And I, being just ridiculous, said, are you propositioning us? Because then he put me in the mix. After the 3rd time, he added me to the mix and said, I said, I'd rather you both stick yourselves to me. And that's when I said, are you propositioning us? Are you trying to pick us up? And I said, don't tempt me with a good time or something like that. And he said, well, don't deny me. Then he tries to tell Sarah, I saw you outside. And she's like, oh, I didn't see you. And he's like, yeah, I was the one with the blanket on my lap. Exactly. Ooh. I made the same face. And at that point, I was like, you need to just keep rolling with you. No 2 teeth, wheelchair rolling pervert. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's like, I can handle it. I can stand up.
Oh yeah. So then he had to make sure we knew that he was capable of handling, quote unquote, handling it. And he stood up. He was tall. He was like really tall. And he just kept wanting to engage. And I told Sarah after he left, I'm like, what did he think we were going to do? First of all, he's all dirty and gross. And again, no teeth. And I'm like, did he think we were just being like, oh, okay, well, we're done here. We don't need to stay here. Let's go roll around the corner into the park.
You should have told him you got $1,000. Oh my God.
No, I was really, well, first of all, I was really surprised. I didn't think he had the audacity. So I kept asking, saying,
men will always have the audacity.
Right? But first of all, I'm like, what are you doing? This is QCon. Are you not aware of your surroundings?
Oh yeah, actually.
As far as he's concerned, we were together and into each other, not men.
Yeah, actually, and not only that, he'd probably have better luck with somebody else.
But QCon, really? I mean, it's not his demographic at all. I don't know. And then he started talking about Puerto Rican women and Dominican women, and I'm just like, ugh. Like he can pick and choose.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so
I mean, if he's got money, he can.
He can't afford teeth, Jen. He can't do it.
Maybe it's just a preference. He doesn't want his teeth.
I suppose that's the choice. I don't know.
Old people are weird.
Yeah. So that's
Can't
the
wait to be a weird
UConn.
Old pervert grandma.
But The other chisme at QCon is that I found some of my people there where I had a copy of the Dungeon Crawler Carl novel and Dungeon Crawler Carl trade paperback, and I sold both of them. Turns out I had more copies in the box that was left under the table, Sarah. I unpacked them when I got I know, I was so mad. But anyway, that leads into the real chisme is that Dungeon Crawler Carl has been greenlit to be a live action TV show produced by Seth MacFarlane and to come out on Peacock. So what that means now is that I gotta sign up for Peacock so that I can watch Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's just barely been greenlit. It is a live action, so it's far off in the future. It's we might not even see it until 2028.
Damn.
But there is some criticism around it. Seth MacFarlane is known for his live action comedies like Ted, and I think there might have been another one, I can't remember. But even just with Ted, the budget got to be so crazy out of control with CGI and all that stuff that they couldn't afford to do it anymore. And I'm like, the CGI for what this book is going to require must be 100 times that. So fingers crossed that they don't ruin it for me. I can't wait to see it, but you know how TV has a way of doing that to my favorite books. First Why the Last Man, then Walking Dead, now Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I am still excited about it. And with this announcement, they announced that there's going to be a San Diego Comic-Con panel. Who knows what hall it's going to be? I mean, it's big enough to be in Hall H, I think, but it'll probably be in Bayfront or Ballroom 20. Either way, I hope that my schedule allows for me to try to stand in line and go check it out.
And now it's time for On My Radar. Kristen, what is on your radar?
So on my radar this week is a small independent company called Mad Cave Comics. Their new #1 called Land of Never. It's written by Steve Orlando and illustrated by Miguel Mora. Look at that. I think there's a Latino in there. And it came out last week, and I actually really liked it. It intrigued me. There is a play on the whole Peter Pan, what do you call it? Like story, tale, lore, whatever. So the synopsis of the comic is 6 months ago, Jim Hoke's daughter, Wendy, disappeared from her room. All Jim caught was a glimpse of a hulking figure at the window, the kind of late night vision that is easily written off as a hallucination. No one believes Jim's story, and 6 months later, the retired pathologist is just looking for anyone who will listen. And even if he finds someone, should they believe him? Jim already retired early for planting evidence against an alleged killer. His word doesn't mean much, and it means even less with him as a suspect in Wendy's disappearance. He can't leave town, he can't forget what he saw, and he can't get any sleep thanks to the nightmares. With Wendy's disappearance declared the coldest of cases, Jim believes he's the only one who cares about finding his daughter, and he's got a withered Father's Day card in his pocket to remind him all he can do is his best. So he better step it up. Jim goes into business for himself, tracking leads and harassing anyone who's polite enough to listen to his story. He dives into rabbit hole after rabbit hole until he meets someone else like him. Then another, a whole community of people who've lost someone to a cryptid they call the Floating Man, just like the huge creature Jim saw take Wendy. Suddenly, Wendy's abductor has a name, the Floating Man, and Jim's obsession has direction. He's got to track down the Floating Man, uncover his crimes, and free not just his daughter, Wendy, but everyone who's been lost. So I read it, and it was pretty interesting. It does leave a lot to the imagination for the first issue, but there was an ending that one of the people that he meets in these like dark web online message rooms where people are talking about murders and losing family members because no one else will listen to them. He meets this guy. He goes and meets him at a restaurant, and the guy tells him that he knows who this floating man is, that this floating man is a lost boy. So there's some tie-in also to the Peter Pan lore. So I'm looking forward to issue number 2. Issue number 1 was gave a little bit of a basis of who Jim is, and that he broke the law and got fired, and that he basically has been told 6 months after his daughter's disappearance that it's a cold case and that they're basically not going to do anything anymore. So that's where he takes it all on himself and starts doing his own investigation. So The Land of Never, number 1 from Mad Cave Studios. Definitely check it out.
And is it an ongoing series or like a mini series?
I think it's going to be a mini series, but let's see if it tells me here.
I'm so riveted. I totally want to get put that on my pull list for sure. And I mean, I love the whole Peter Pan thing, so this is like right up my alley, and this bit of a horror take. So I'm. It sounds really cool.
Yes, of course. You know that I get excited about horror stories. So it's they already have volume 1 solicited, but it doesn't say what issues are in volume 1. So and then they have issue 3 on pre-order, but it doesn't say how many of the issues are entailed, are brought into the trade, but the trade isn't coming out until February 2027. So looks like if that plays itself out, then it looks like there's probably going to be 6 issues in the first volume.
Oh, right on. Cool. That sounds really awesome. All right, guys, now it's time for our book review. What are we reviewing today, ladies?
We're taking it back. So, Sarah, we are reading Persepolis, but can you explain a little bit about how this came to us and why we are reading it?
So Marjane is the creator and writer of the story, so she actually drew it and wrote it. And the thing of it is, I came across a story that as a comic creator, she ended up passing away recently. I didn't know about her before, but I came across that story, and and I didn't dive too much into it because I thought it was like really creepy for me to do that. And so all I read, I believe, is that she died of a broken heart.
What?
Yes, and so that was intriguing to me, and so I then was looking for this title on like a library, like Hoopla, and it wasn't in there. And then I just did a random search, and I found the book for sale, obviously because of what had happened. Amazon had it on sale, and so I thought, a lot of people said it was like a very moving story, and it dealt with like an autobiographical theme, and so I thought, what better way to honor someone, a creative person with such a compelling and interesting and impactful story, and then having such a incredible life to just now not be here with us. And so I thought it'd be really amazing to just present this and review this to our listeners if they're not familiar.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It says that her family has stated that she died of sadness following the loss of her husband in 2025. Close circles and family stated that she suffered severe depression and died of a broken heart a little over a year after the passing of her husband.
Wow.
Yeah, she was 56 years old when she passed away. And it's funny because I read Persepolis when I was in high school. And it was thanks to, again, my AP history teacher, my AP US history teacher. And he was, I haven't realized just how much of a fundamental part he played in my life, in how I view politics and how I interact with politics and stuff like that. But I learned so much from him, and one of them was like uh, the very tumultuous and convoluted history of the relationship between the U.S. and Iran. Uh, and like even to this day, like it's complicated. If you ask anybody, it's complicated. It's enough to be like you have to have like degrees in like U.S. Middle Eastern politics and associations, I think, to fully even maybe to fully understand what's happening, how everything has led to the way that it has. And even then, I don't think it'd be fully comprehensive. I don't think anybody really understands our history and relationships with Iran in and of itself, because Iran is old. Mm-hmm. Iran is so old. Like Iran is where Mesopotamia was. It is Iraq, Iran, the entirety of the Middle. That's the birthplace of civilization, and everything that's happening there is so intermixed and so intertwined with history, with relations, with ethnicity, and everything that goes on, that we can only barely a barely 250-year-old country is never really going to truly comprehend. And just reading
I'm so glad you said it's so old that it's very hard for us to comprehend as a very young nation. And because I totally felt like the wave of incredible information in just this one book, that I was like, I had no idea.
It's barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, and wrapping my head around all this information was just like a gift, but also like I couldn't believe how I didn't know a lot of this. And it almost reminded me of like We Are Pan, where a lot of stuff was almost introduced, even though I was familiar with a little bit of it. It almost felt like an introduction that I did not fully comprehend. And I also wanted to mention that now I remember exactly why I didn't dive into the aspects of her passing, was because she passed at 54 and I just turned 50. And the mentioning of sadness, I'm married, so it just kind of hit too close to home. I'm like, I just turned 50, and like, who knows what the next 6 years are going to look like. So that was like, I was unwilling to just like go down that route. So that's probably why I didn't look into it. But yes, that's I just wanted to clear that, because I knew there was a shift of emotion that just drove me to like look up her work and stuff like that, and not really dwell on the aspect of her passing. So that's actually what happened. Was I kind of felt like it was it's something maybe too familiar for me.
And like especially with everything that's going on right now with Iran, I think it's good to like go back and read these things and understand that Iran as a nation, the people of Iran, they're so much more complicated, they're so much more nuanced than what the government and what like the propaganda, the news is trying to tell us about Iran and the Iranian people. Like there is the same thing with like, it's basically the same thing with Cuba and like the whole like what people have suffered and what the peoples have suffered at the hands of their own government, but also like the people in some way were pushed to this because of rapid westernization, because of the inequality and the social disparities as well. Like there is, like, I'm not saying like, oh, like the Iranian government is correct and like the people chose it, because there's definitely protests that we are not privy to, that we can only see through social media, that we know are happening. Like there's currently a women's protest happening over there that are not just against the veil, but for them and their identity and their sense of self. And I will always support that. I will always support women in whichever, whether they're Muslim, whether they are like they're Arab, or whether they're white, Mexican, white, or less of that. But yeah, in the same thing happening right now in Mexico in the protests about the, what is it, 133 1,000 missing people, and they're protesting like why is all this money being spent on the World Cup but not in finding our like the pieces of our loved ones. There's just the way that the world is so interconnected and how nothing is black and white. It just all comes crushing back to me, especially after reading this, and I was like, it drove me to tears. But it's really funny because 100% as I was reading this, I don't know why, but I kept thinking of you, Kristen. Like I kept thinking like, I don't know why, but I kept thinking like I like the way Marjane was portrayed. I'm just like, I could 100% see Kristen being like this.
Oh yeah, she is totally sassy, and her voice really carries a lot in this comic strips. And I just it almost was like because you see them wearing the veil and how they were forced to start wearing the veil, and just her sassiness and not understanding what the veil actually meant, and then having seen movies or other like media portraying women wearing the veil where they have no voice and they're like not even seen as actual humans, and for her to have that voice, that loud, very this is where I am, and I read books, I know what I'm talking about, like really just, and then coming at it also in such a romanticized way, and also not only that, but also such an innocent way of thinking about the world. Even though her parents were like really about her educating her and were really about like protests, and even her mom was in a picture that was in the news, her protesting, and it was just like it was sort of like a fire was lit, like it's just amazingly written. I felt so many things. I was like, when she was dressing up as playing as Che Guevara, or how she was being, should I be play Castro, how she was like, how she was fascinated by people who were in prison because of their political views, and wanting to hear all the stories about them being tortured. It was just, it was a lot as a reader, but she found it almost fascinating, like they were heroes. So that was just, it was a really roller coaster of emotions. And to see that from a different aspect, I think this book is a gift. Even if it's harsh, and even if it hurts, and even if you're sad, even if you cry while reading it, I think it's a gift.
So this was first published in 2000 in her original language, and then translated to multiple different languages, English being one of them in 2002. And it's been around for a very long time. It was made into an animated movie, and there is a lot of people who have said, just like Jen, I've read this book in college, I read this book in high school, in some sort of educational institution. So it's really been used in a lot of different classrooms. But for those of you who don't know what this book is and may have never heard about it before, this is the memoir of Marjane Satrapi, growing up in Iran during the Islamic Revolution. It's in powerful black and white and in comic strip images, and she tells the story of her life in Tehran from ages 6 to 14, years that saw the overthrow of the Shah's regime, the triumph of the Islamic Revolution, and the devastating effects of war with Iraq. The unintelligent and outspoken only child, the intelligent and outspoken only child of committed Marxists and the great-granddaughter of one of Iran's last emperors, Marjane bears witness to a childhood uniquely entwined with the history of her country. So she died at 56. I just turned 54. And so we are very similar ages. And I remember the US's response and the sentiment against Iranian people when I was in elementary school. I remember how they were demonized and villainized. And in reading this book, am seeing for the first time the reality of what it was like there from the perspective of a child who was similar to my age. I remember, Sarah, you might too, maybe not because you're a little bit younger than me, but have you ever heard the Beach Boys song Barbara Ann? Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. Well, when I was in elementary school, the radio stations played a take on that song, and it was bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, 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 Iran. I grew up hearing that song. I grew up singing that song. I didn't know what the fuck was going on or what it meant, but it was on all the radio stations. And so, honestly, it's a little bit, what's the word I want to say?
Jarring.
Jarring, but also like pathetic in a way that it took me to 54 years old. And now I'm getting emotional to actually see through the lies that the government was saying and to see the reality of what was happening on the other side of the world and just the terror that was going on. And of course, so much of it was around money and oil. And of course, the United States has their hands in all of that bullshit. And so I had always been wanting to read this because, of course, it's won so many awards and there's been so many accolades over the years. And I did not want to read it this time because I just had a tough day today. And I knew it was going to be a tough read. And it was a tough read. But I really, especially with what's going on now, I really hope more people who have not read it quite yet get their hands on this book and read what's going on, or what went on, and most likely what is still now going on now.
Yeah. And it's really funny because it's, once again, I'm like realizing the scope of just how multicultural Los Angeles, but in Los Angeles, Los Angeles has the largest diaspora of Iranian Americans, or just Iranian people. It's Little Persia, or as I just recently, because I was looking up, I was just like, because I would like, whenever we would go to like the West Side, you would pass by Little Persia because one, they have great food. Two, like if you were just going to like Westwood and stuff like that, or like or like heading to West Hollywood, you pass by Little Persia all the time. But apparently, it's also known as Tehrangeles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the diaspora that came over have really like enmeshed themselves in there, and it is so easy to get Iranian food in Los Angeles. Like I like it was not that it was everywhere, but it was definitely prevalent, and it was something that like like we grew up eating. Whenever
There's a lot of there's a lot of people know that there's a lot of Armenians in Glendale, but there's also Persian Iranians there as well. And I worked with a few of them when I worked in Glendale, and they used to bring the best food ever. It was so good.
And it's just, and so again, once that community, but then I kept thinking like, because we were exposed to these communities, or we worked with people who were of Iranian or Persian descent, we have that closeness to them, but they're still 100%, as in right now in the political sphere, we can see where Iran is definitely still like the big bad, this huge enemy, when I'm just all like, just lift the sanctions, bro. Let these people live. Let their ideas flourish. Let them, like, there is no choking out like Iran and its people. Like, they'll be here. They'll probably be here long after the collapse of the United States. Like, it's a culture that has persevered and withstood the test of time. Like, it's like the fact that she was saying like Cyrus the Great, I'm just like, girl, that's ancient history, but that's their history.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that they still have this, that they have tangible like history like that, like, let's be for real, the United States could never. Like, and again, like, the whole, like, it's literally all about oil. And, like, the way that this all could be avoided if we just spent money on really focusing on renewable energies and stuff like that, so that we could wean off of the teat of oil and oil companies. But no. All this to say is that I'm gonna probably vote for Javier Becerra, even though he took money from Chevron Oil. But this is where we're at. This is where we're fucking at.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, this is a read that basically left us silent at the end of this.
Yeah. It took me like just processing everything and reading everything and remembering. It's so funny that you were saying that about how it took you until you were 54 to realize the propaganda machine. That is how the propaganda machine works. Like, even like that, my AP history, it wasn't until I took his class that I realized how efficiently the 9/11 propaganda machine, the Islamophobic, just like everything, like 9/11, post 9/11 had worked on me as a child, because I was like, I think I was 6 years old when 9/11 happened, 6 or 7 years old when 9/11 happened. And so the whole like Islam is bad and Muslims are evil and like the bad, like these are the bad guys and stuff like that, that worked on me up until I was in like high school. And even then, like, slowly, like, learning about like history and stuff like that, like, chipped away at it. It wasn't until that AP US history teacher who was just all like, hey, things are a lot more complicated and you are being like brainwashed by the propaganda machine, and I'm going to help you how to unlearn this internalized basically Islamophobia, xenophobia. And he really broke through, I think, a lot of the students. Bless him. But it takes a teacher like that.
Yeah.
Because if you have someone who's just spitting out what the propaganda machine wants, which is what the dismantling of the Department of Education and trying to keep people dumb and like, oh my God, everything is so connected. I feel like a conspiracy theorist right now. Like it's trying to keep people stupid. Like, why is there such an aversion to literacy? It's because they're trying to keep you stupid.
Yes.
It's like, and if you're stupid, you're never going to question anything. You're just going to say, this is how things are. Like, no, this isn't how things are. This isn't how things should be. Question everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, what hit close to home for me during reading some of the story was the way that the schools closed, and then when they came back, they had new material, and telling them that he was appointed by God himself, and now the slow brainwashing starts.
I mean,
at the school level.
Wasn't that similar to what we read in We Are Pan?
And exactly.
Where the teacher was like, I couldn't do it anymore, not even just because of the dumbness of what they were having me to teach, but because I could see it working.
Yes. And that was like, does everybody have a freaking playbook on this shit? Like,
it's the playbook of fundamentalism into itself. Because this wasn't even like there was a revolution that took place to overplace a corrupt official who was placed there by US British operatives so that they could benefit off of oil, and they was overthrown, and there was like a brief moment of hope that that communist or leftist and then a democracy would happen, but then that was quickly crushed by fundamentalist groups taking over and then executing anybody. This isn't even like communism versus like capitalism. This was fundamentalism versus everything else, because they executed both Democrats or like democratic like leaning people and communists and anybody who wasn't basically into like the fundamentalism. This is it's the same playbook, different different author, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, it's an amazing read, but also I think the art is drawn in such a way that it's almost just beautiful in its simplicity, and but you still get like the kind of like um, reaction in the faces. You get that art where it shows you the emotion behind the dialogue. Even something like this, where it's kind of a repetitive, but you see the looks on their faces, and you know that it's despair, and it's just incredibly executed. It's just so amazingly done. I really loved it. As a person who likes to draw, I just felt like what inspiration comes from an image like this, that it only has two colors and yet it speaks volumes. I'm gonna get emotional again. Damn.
And even then, like, not to brush, like, but like, I after reading this and like seeing her own family history of like her grandfather died because of like heart attacks because he couldn't see his son anymore. Her mother faints when she's leaving, and like from what I know of Persepolis 2, because I did read that one but a very long time ago, like she lives, but she is forever affected by her daughter being forced to forced to leave, basically. Like, I'm not surprised that she died of a broken heart. It seems to be in her family that they feel things so emotionally, so intensely, that it does affect them in like health wise. So and I think seeing that last page as well, that's what like really, now I'm getting emotional because it really did like bring tears to my eyes of this one right here.
I know. When I saw that, I'm glad you said that, Jamie, because I'm like, what the fuck happened? Now I gotta go read the second one. Did she live? Did she die? What happened?
No, her mom lives, yeah. But she is devastated, completely devastated by their only child.
Exactly.
Like being they're being forced to say goodbye to her at the age of 14 just so that she can have a future, because they know that she could be killed if she stays in Iran.
So just like we are Pan. So these governmental takeovers and regimes and stuff like that, separating the family from their young, is just incredibly crazy. Just incredibly crazy. All I can say is, you guys out there listening to this podcast, you definitely need to check this book out. It is amazing. It will open your eyes. It will tear a wound in your heart. It will make you laugh. It will make you even dream a little bit, like, you know, and you still manage to come out with hope. So I definitely highly recommend this book. Are you guys ready to rate it?
100% ready to rate and review. Well, we reviewed it already, but rate it.
So our rating scale is on a scale of 1 to 3 conchas. 3 conchas being the most conchas that Jen's mom ever let her eat in one sitting. So that was the best. If a book does not fit on our 1 to 3 concha scale, then we each come up with our individualized rating. So I will go ahead and get started. I reluctantly read the book. Even as I was reading it, I was like cursing Sarah's name because it was so heavy. It was so heavy, and it was really, I think, broadening my world perspective. I still am the product of my very sheltered, small little podunk 2-horse town, and I forget sometimes that there are these things, these ideas and ideals that were put into me as a child that I've never really re-examined. And I do consider myself so liberal and left-leaning and very progressive, and to realize that the things that were being told to me and the things that I believed as a child, that I kind of have never really revisited and kind of, bought into it still. And it just really is all about empathy and realizing that we're all human, no matter where we live or what religion we are, or what environmental circumstances we're in. We're all human, and so many humans on this earth are being terrorized by their government, including us.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm giving the whole panaderia all the yummy Iranian food that I've ever had. I think, Sarah, we need to take a trip to Little Persia and check it out for ourselves.
Yes, I completely agree. There was a Thanksgiving holiday many years ago where I went to my boss's dad's house in Rancho Palos Verdes, and they're Iranian, and they had this one platter of rice with pomegranate seeds in it.
Yes.
God, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so good.
Yes, and they had the Iranian tea, and then they had these this flatbread with cheese, and they put mint leaves on. All that and more, the whole panaderia for this book. And I've never forgotten that meal because it's so gloriously delicious.
For me, again, also the entire panaderia and some, it's a great book. I like reading this really reminded me of that history teacher, and a little bit of high school. It was definitely a trip down memory lane reading it, and the good times I've had. Definitely the entire panaderia for me.
Yeah. So go out and read it, guys. You must read it. Must. It's a must read, absolutely. And it's not that thick, but you get such an important lesson and so many feelings, and just an amazing read. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, and if you're allergic to reading, there's also a movie under the same name, Persepolis. You can watch it.
You can watch it. Come on.
Marjane, Satrapi, rest in power for all that you've done for women's rights, for Iranian women, and for just women who have been oppressed over the years.
Now she's a hero. What was it that they said? They beat their hands on their chests? Yes. For her, I'll do it.
But also for the courage of writing and drawing your story and sharing it. That takes a lot of courage. Okay. I need a break.
It's okay.
All right. And now it's time for En la Librería. Jen, what do you have for us today?
So today I have, if it will load, Trailers issue number 1, a mother-daughter dungeon crawler through the body of a sleeping giant.
Oh, that sounds so cool!
Right? Okay, the cover art is what drew this to me, because there's what looks like brains and then an ear canal, and it looks cool. So it's called Trailers. It's being created by Jess Winton, who is a Belfast-based comic artist who has an Instagram @_Wintern, and that's it. That's all I get from their thing. But I'm just gonna read the campaign that they have on here. Campaign. Okay. Trailers follows a mother-daughter duo as they crawl through the guts of a sleeping giant in search of treasure. Karakat has entrailed for decades, in teams and alone. Tor has been training since the day she could walk. Both of them think they know giants. Both of them think they know each other. This is a 32-page, including cover, A5 color comic. The story. Once, giants roamed the world. They ate all they saw. Warriors and worshippers fell before them. Nothing could be done. Now, the giants sleep. They have been still and silent for hundreds and hundreds of years. Karakat has made a life from looting their bodies, rich with treasure of long-swallowed civilizations. Practiced and eager, her daughter is about to follow in her footsteps. Karakat knows giants as living dungeons, rife with plant life and parasites. Tor thinks whatever her mother thinks, devoted to the crawl, absolutely buzzing for her first time entrailing. It's watching her daughter that makes Karakat begin to question the nature of the giants and what grows inside them. Issue number 1 will take you into the mouth of the story, introduce the characters, and show a first glimpse of the world. If you like stories about the natural world, film and TV such as Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Scavenger's Reign, Princess Mononoke, or Dungeon Meshi, weird biology, then hopefully you'll enjoy end trailers. And then they have a preview of how it's going to look, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way. It's got water-esque, like a really, if it's not water-esque colors originally, then they definitely have the style down. It's very, like, they paint like the inside of the giants like very red, very gory, but still bright and kind of beautiful. And then there's the outside of like how their bodies are being like overgrown. It's very green. It's incredibly beautiful. So the rewards available. If you want to show support for it, you can always support or make a pledge without expecting a reward. But the base pledge does start at £4, which is about $6 USD, and you get a digital copy of End Trailers number 1. If you want the physical copy, it's about £9 or about 12 USD. You get the digital copy plus the physical A5 32-page copy of physical copy. If you want a copy in the print, it is £12 or about 16 USD. And it includes all of the above plus a print. And then there's also a bundle package where you will get your name on the back of the cover, as well as all other rewards. And that's £20 or about 27 USD. And then the last one is the End Trailer bundle plus bugs. So you get all the previous items plus a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter hand painted watercolor bug.
Wow.
I don't know what kind of bug, but it's a bug. So and then they also have a Patreon, and you can order through there as well, and you will receive a free exclusive sticker if you are part of their Patreon. Basically all the funding, the goal amount is to cover the cost for initial print run of End Trailers number 1. The budget covers printing, shipping, postage, the labor of making the comic, and other wee bits and pieces such as Kickstarter's processing fees. Postage will be collected with the pledge to avoid unexpected costs further down the line. It will be tracked by Royal Mail standard delivery. So definitely check it out. I think it is very beautiful. I think it's very intriguing. I like the idea of itself, a mother-daughter duo crawling through the insides of a giant. Yes. And the fact that they're able to go in because they're so huge, like, that's pretty cool. So they had wanted, their initial goal was a goal of 1,189 USD. They are currently at 6,413 US dollars, nice, with 216 backers and 28 days to go. So plenty of time to check it out, see if it's your thing, if it's your jam. It's really looks really, really beautiful. Love the idea itself. Definitely is gonna meet the campaign page because it has already got into it. So definitely check it out. It is End Trailers issue number 1, and End Trailers is ENTRAILERS, and it's available on Kickstarter.
Always remember, if you're driving or at work and you can't jot down what we talk about and you're interested in checking it out, always remember that we have our show notes and all that information is in there, including the link to this Kickstarter. All right, guys, now it's time for Juntos y Fuertes. Kristen, what do you have for us today?
So this week, I had this video come across my TikTok For You page. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. I am going to bookmark it to share on Juntos y Fuertes. And then I went to go look for it today, and I found it, but I couldn't find out where this place was was located, and I finally think that I saw that it is here in the Los Angeles area. So I am talking about a social group called Botitas, and they are a trans and queer movement of interdependence, and they get together and they play games, they do nerdy shit, and it was something that I saw and I was like, that sounds really cool. So I wanted to share it. So I let me just look here of where I shared or saved it on my TikTok. And so it shows that is also Latine based. And so it shows them playing pickleball, it shows them playing loteria, it shows them getting together and just doing cool stuff. And so it really is something that I thought I wanted to share, so that if other people, other trans or queer Latinos, Latinas wanted to participate, it would be something that you can look into. So they are on TikTok, Botitas, and it's at Botitas, BOTITAS.world, and that is also their username on Instagram. And they have a link tree where you can go and it says it's a trans and queer Latin movement of interdependence. And you can go and look at their fundraiser. They have a fundraiser on June 27th, which my darn computer won't let me go to. They have a volunteer form, and they also are saying that donations are welcome. So that's Botitas, and that's at botitas.world on both Instagram and TikTok.
Right on, Botitas. That's kind of cool. Little booties, that's what it translates, or little booties. All right, guys, that brings us to Saludos. And Saludos goes out today to QCon 2026. We really enjoyed ourselves. Was really amazed at all the wonderful cosplay costumes that were. Yes. One of my favorites was the Green Lanterns. That was super cool. And also, oh my gosh, Rogue, slay, just beautiful. And also to all the people that actually came to our table and said, hey, I listened to you guys.
Yeah.
And that is always the best feeling, that there's somebody out there listening besides just us. So thank you, listeners. Thank you guys for supporting QCon. It was bigger this year. There was an outside patio section. There was in another building, there was actually 3 rooms and the panels in that same building. And then, of course, the Fiesta Hall where we were at. We were in a new location in the hall where we're a lot cooler than the rest of the hall, which thank you very much. But it was just really great. I really had a great time. And again, all the wonderful creators that we met, and also the ones we've met before and reunited again. Also, all the audience and people that came over and said, we listen to you guys. That was super cool. That was extra special. That's always my favorite part, when somebody's like, okay, I follow you guys, or I listen to you guys, or that's always such a gift. So keep doing that. I love that part. That's my favorite part. But also wanted to saludos to ShiroCon 2026 is going to be taking place August 1st, 2026, between 12 and 6 p.m. And it's going to be at 7900 Balboa Boulevard in Van Nuys, California. So yes, it's a Valley Relics Museum is the location. So we'll be posting more about that as the time comes, but definitely keep that on your calendar. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Krista, where can they find us?
You can find us, as always, at comadresycomics.com, where you can find links to older shows, also to all of our social media. And you can write us an email at comadrescomics@gmail.com. You can listen to us for free on any streaming platform, and you can watch us on YouTube.
Excellent. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for listening and or watching us. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to see you guys at our panel in San Diego Comic-Con. Details on that to come, but it'll be the three of us, so reunited, and it feels so good. So follow us on social media. We will be announcing that when we are allowed to do so. So hopefully we'll see you there. If not, find us around. We'll be around definitely. Again, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you. We have been your host. I'm Sarah.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Jen.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.